priorities we have, and we call that the what's. And then there are 5 things we call the how we'll do it. And those priorities are as follows. Our first priority is infrastructure. Simply put, it's electricity, it's roads, it's water, and it's internet and cell phone connectivity across Liberia. We have to invest in infrastructure. That is the top priority. That's the basis on which we can and will do everything else. The second priority for us is job creation. There are too many unemployed, underemployed, and unemployable Liberians. The unemployment rate is over 85%. And therefore, job creation is our next priority, creating jobs for the Liberian people. So after job creation, our next priority is agriculture. We are a country, after 170 years, that do not feed ourselves. Last year alone, we imported over 160 million United States dollars in rice import, and total food imports was over $280 million. These are things we can do for ourselves. We should be producing rice to feed ourselves, and my commitment is that by the end of my first term in office, we will be self-sufficient in rice production. And within education, we are focused on vocational training, teachers training, and adult education. But we have to educate our young people because, again, that's how we can help them create jobs. That's how we can train farmers. And so these things are all linked together. And our final priority in terms of the what's is health. Because you can have good infrastructure, you can have a good job, you can feed yourself, you can have great education, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. And so health is our 5th priority, and there we're focused on primary health care and preventive health care. So those are the what's we'll do for our people, for the Liberian people.
So let me say good afternoon and welcome to the weekend edition of the program, the FIXER Hour. The FIXER Hour is our 30-minute program that comes your way every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Bottom Line Liberia with me, Joseph P. Yonly. So officially, this is how I like to welcome you to July 14 edition of the program. There are a lot of things making news, but again, today we're going to be looking at what make Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlie Bronski the preferred candidate in the October 10th presidential and legislative election. And also on the program today, we're going to be looking at some of the workings of Mr. Cummings, what Mr. Cummings has been doing for the people of Liberia, and before entering politics, and even from the day he has entered politics. So we're going to look at many more on the program here. So I want you to keep sharing the live. I want you to keep sharing the live, and I want you to share it in a lot of chat rooms that you're part of. So quickly, let's begin. Let me begin by saying thank you to every one of you. It's been great. It's been great. And thank every one of you for for the support. Thank you for the support. Thank you for what all you continue to do. You know, it's so difficult at this point in time to pledge your loyalty to a political institution. For most of you are in all of its endeavors. You continue to support the CPP in all of its endeavors. So I want to appreciate you. Many our mothers who selling in the market, selling a bitter board, a pepper. Because of them, today we are sitting on this platform to inform a lot of you about the vision of Mr. Cummings. And you know, a lot of people been asking, some been concerned. In fact, the last time, I think it was yesterday or day two, I was on a local radio station in Grandia County. And then the question was posed to me, what make Mr. Cummings the preferred candidate for the October 10th election? The reason is very simple. And that's why today we're going to be looking at it. And most of you too, you supporting Mr. Cummings. But the fact is that you don't even know some of Mr. Cummings' contribution to the people of Liberia. Right. Most of you supporting Mr. Cummings, but you don't even know what Mr. Cummings has been done for the people of Liberia. So it is important that we come on this platform. It is important that we inform you about some of Mr. Cummings' working. But again, let me make this clear to everyone watching. Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronski is the preferred candidate in the October election because Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronski is not part of those who cause the suffering that the Liberian people are confronted with today. Let's get this cleared and very clear on record. Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronski, they are the preferred presidential candidate in the October election, October 10 election, because the Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronski, they are not part, or they have not been part of those who have caused the Liberian people to suffer. The corruption today, we continue to cry. The corruption today, we continue to witness in the governance system of our country. The opportunity of the Liberian people that have been squandered, they have never been Mr. Cummings or neither Councillor Charlene Bronski. The two of them come with a very clean character, a distinct character. And that's why many of us would sit on our platform and encourage you to support the CPP, Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronski. We continue to tell you that Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronski is the integrity argon in this pending election. There's no doubt about it. Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronski are the integrity argon that we can count on for the total redemption of our country. The two of them have never worked in government. They have never supported a system that have bankrupt our economy. Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronski have never worked in the legislature before to pass those bogus agreements that continue to undermine the development of our country. Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronski have never worked in the judiciary as associate justice minister, or whatever role they have played in the justice system of our country. They have never served in government before. So the two of them come with a clean character, a distinct character, a character that we all can count on, a character that, yes, we can rest and show that, yes, if they are elected president and vice president of the Republic of Liberia, we're going to witness a very new dawn in the history of Liberia. Let me just say this. I have been having this kind of conversation, right? Many people say everything is not the vice president. Everything in election, it's not about the vice president. All we have for is the president. The reason why I'm bringing this up because I have most of my friends from the Yonly party who been running with this statement. The very first thing is that all of us crying for change, right? All of you watching this show right now, you want change in Liberia. Okay, what have been the problem of Liberia? What have been Liberia's problem? If you ask me and you ask many people who are knowledgeable to Liberia problems, they're going to tell you that one of the problems of Liberia is our legislatures. That's fact. Our legislature they play a very serious role into the national decision making of our country. In fact, they are very key into the developmental draft of our country, Liberia. Our legislature, they are very key. So, I can look at the workings of the legislature. You understand that the current batch of legislature, they have been one way or the other, not in the interest of the Liberian people, not one way or the other. The current batch of legislature, they are not in the interest of the Liberian people. Almost all of the agreements that have been signed, they came from the legislature. They approve of it. Our legislature approved most of those agreements that have been signed with concession companies operating in our forests, in our bushes, in our rural counties. Our legislature, they preside what the budget. We hear the budget hearing. They see the legislature, they should be cognizant of the fact that, hey, the Liberian people deserve better. But they agree with the president whenever the president sends the budget, the draft budget to the legislature. They agree that, almost 80% of the allotment will be used on government agency. Almost 50% of our revenue, of our budget, 50% of our budget, everything can lead back to the capital building there. So the problem of Liberia, one may say, is from the legislature. Okay, since the problem of Liberia now, they agree that it's from the legislature. Today, let's look at the political parties that is contesting for the presidency. Let's look at individuals who running to be president and vice president. The very first thing, the former vice president Joseph Boyka have worked in the Liberian Senate. The current president George Manawea has worked in the Liberian Senate. So if you say the problem of the legislature, one of the problems of Liberia is the legislature, and today we have Ambassador Baga who have worked in the Senate. He had the opportunity to change some of those wrong things, some of those negative things, some of those things that have never been in the interest of the Liberian people. He denied them. President George Weah came from the legislature. He came from the Liberian Senate. Today, he is president of the Republic of Liberia, but yet and still we can't feel the impact. Now, we are going to the October 10th election. Today, again, the same vice president, Joseph Boyka, he went back to the Liberian Senate, the legislature that we continue to see as one of the major problems to our development in our country. He went there and take a certain senator to be his vice presidential candidate. The current vice president, he went to the legislature. He went in the legislature. He said, okay, send the Liberian people say the problem they are confronted with is the issue of our legislature, because our legislature is not in the interest of them. Let me go there and take one of the legislators who would have been privileged to work there and it's not in the interest of the Liberian people. Let me bring him to help you. So do you think the VP Boyka, the Unity Party ticket, is going to do something different from what we are seeing today? I say no. They are not going to make the difference. Because almost everybody you see beyond the DP, Braga, and the Unity Party, they are those same people coming from the legislature. They are the same people who've been receiving $30,000 for constituent engagement. They are the same people who've been receiving the $30,000 people been crying for. Who is the campaign chair for the Unity Party? It's not the same sitting Senator Yonly. It's the same. So these people, they are not bringing nothing new on the table. They are not bringing nothing new for the Liberian people. They are just going to continue the same system to corrupt the Liberian people, to invest the funds of the Liberian people, and to enrich themselves. That's just the reality of it. The problem of Liberia is the legislature. But today you see the United Party vice president, presidential candidate is from where? From the legislature. A sitting senator. The campaign chair is from the legislature. Senator Yonly Lauren. Today we continue to see the hardship that Liberian people continue to face, the Liberian people are faced with. We continue to see the difficulty that Liberian people are going through. Our major roles. You will never hear that the budget has been passed and then they capture some roles in our country, major roles in our country. But you see in the budget, you will see legislative engagement to go back to them, the same legislature, even though they are being paid, but they still put portion in the budget for them to go and have a constituent engagement. So if our problem is the legislature, then why can't we change this time around and look at the CPP? Why can't we change and look at the CPP? Because the CPP come with new faces. They come with new vision. The CPP come with new faces, new vision. And the vast standard bearer of the CPP is a liquor practitioner. The vast running mate to Mr. Cummings, the vast standard bearer of the CPP, she from the legal background. She do have a legal understanding, right? So if we want to change the system, since we continue to say yes, our problem in Liberia, the president, yes, the president has serious part to play there, but our legislature too, we can't do away with our legislature because they preside the budget. The legislature can even deny some of the things that the president can send to them. But only because we have the legislature who is always not in the interest of the Liberian people after themselves, they always taking side with the regime. So this time around, it is important, fellow Liberians, that we try a new batch of leaders. And if we're looking at the new leadership, we will be looking at the CPP. Mr. Kumi have not worked in government before. Mr. Kumi have not contributed to the suffering Liberian people are faced with today. Likewise, Councillor Charlene Bronski, she have never worked in Liberian government before, and she have never contributed to the suffering that the Liberian people are confronted with. Only our legislature and the president who feel to act on some of these things that continue to retrogress our nation. So let us look at it. And the next thing is that I promise to tell you, some of what Mr. Cummings have been doing, Mr. Cummings' contribution to Liberia. It's very important that we discuss these things because we have few months to election, right? We have barely 60 some more days to election. The 60 some more days we have to the election. It is important that we sit down and tell you what Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronski is going to do and what Mr. Cummings have been done. Because there's a public outcry that we don't know what Mr. Cummings have been doing. So some of us who believe in the vision of Mr. Cummings and who have followed Mr. Cummings' workings, we are here to inform you about some of those things Mr. Cummings have done. So quickly, Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings have provided academic scholarship. Just one. Most of you don't, you are not aware of these things. Mr. Cummings have provided academic scholarship for Liberian students. because Mr. Cummings understands that the problem of Liberia cannot be addressed what the mind of the people are not enlightened. The minds of the Liberian people, whenever is not enlightened, we can achieve anything as a country. So what Mr. Cummings, you want to know what some of the things Mr. Cummings have done? Mr. Cummings have initiated scholarship for Liberians to go to school, because tomorrow he want to work with qualified Liberians. The reason we are faced with a lot of challenges in our country is because we have governments who have a lot of supporters, and they are not even cared about their education. They are not even cared about their academic growth. So Mr. Cummings said, no, since I want to be president of Liberia, and I don't want to be president of a certain group of people, what can I do? Let me provide a scholarship for Liberian students in a science department. Because the problem of Liberia is that today we just have a lot of Liberians. A lot of them, we just sit at intellectual centers, we argue on a daily basis, we have our hospital, we have all the technical side. We don't have specialists in these areas. So what can we do? Let's provide scholarship for Liberian students to go to school. They can be professional engineers, and tomorrow we can award them contracts. So Mr. Cummings has provided academic scholarship. The second thing Mr. Cummings has done is that Mr. Cummings have sponsored the Alexander B. Cummings Innovative Center at AMEU University. Mr. Cummings has sponsored the Alexander Cummings Innovative Center at the AMEU University. Today, if you go on AMEU University campus, you will find out that on that campus, they have the Alexander Cummings Innovative Center. The Innovative Center is where you have students from different departments. They gather to brainstorm, to discuss issues affecting Liberia. You find young people gather themselves to discuss the future of Liberia. So Mr. Cummings said, no, the university is a large university that is doing a great job for the Liberian people, that are doing great things for Liberia, imparting knowledge into the young Liberians. So what can we do? It is important that we be very innovative. Since we want to do things differently, let's create a center wherein we will have, the scholars, the young scholars of our time, going after class, go and sit and have conversation, discuss national issues, discuss trending national issues that are affecting the lives of the vast majority of the citizens. So Mr. Cummings has sponsored the Alexander B. Cummings Innovative Center. Today, if you go on AMEU University campus, you'll find out that they have this innovative center. That center was constructed by Mr. Ellis Cummings. And there are a lot of things Mr. Cummings has done. The next thing Mr. Cummings did is that Mr. Cummings has sponsored 20 projects, 20 water projects through a local NGOs in Nimba County, Montserrado, and Riverside County. On Mr. Cummings, if you privilege to follow the profile of Mr. Cummings, if you follow the Mr. Cummings platform, if you privilege to follow Mr. Cummings platform, Mr. Cummings said in his platform that, look, we should make sanitation a national priority. We should make sanitation a major priority. And what sanitation, sanitation is very important. Because listen, if you want to go out to bring in investors in our country, right? You got to look at sanitation. You got to look at electricity. Because these are things that encourage investors to come in your country. So Mr. Cummings did not sit to say, oh, I should be president before I look into water and sanitation. So what Mr. Kumi has done, Mr. Kumi has sponsored 20 projects in Montserrat and Nima County, Margibi and Riverside through local NGOs. He has sponsored these projects to making sure that the people have safe water. Because sometimes when Mr. Kumi is facing this, when he go on his county tour, on his nationwide tour, he realized that the people are confronted with the challenge of water, safe drinking water. You have people in the 21st century who still going at the creek to go and get water. In that same creek they are going to get that water from, that creek they're using it to what? To defecate there. They're using it as restroom. You have someone up the stream defecating in the river, and you have people down the river fetching water to go and cook. So Mr. Kumi looking at most rather that, hey, I'm not yet president, but if I'm elected president, I'm going to look at the sanitation of our country. I'm going to make sanitation a serious priority, and my government will invest hugely into sanitation. So since it's in this case, what can I do? Say I'm not able to cross across all the country. What can I do now? Let me prioritize populated counties. So Mr. Kumi came to Montserrat. He said, yes, Montserrat is populated. And today, let me just say this, even Montserrat County, you go to District 1, some of the districts here, the people don't even have water in sewer. You go to District 1, people still drawing water from the well. People still drawing water from the well. So Mr. Kumi has sponsored through a local NGO. He has sponsored, 20 water projects in Montserrat, Nimba, Riverside, and Margibi County. He has done that. The next thing Mr. Kumi, the next thing Mr. Kumi has done for the people of Liberia that many of you don't know is that he has facilitated the construction and dedication of a multi-million-dollar school in Painesville. Mr. Kumi has facilitated the construction of multi-million-dollar school in Liberia, in the Painesville, and that school is the school is focused on the science, on the sciences. They are not into the art, no. They are focused on the science department. So the school train engineering, they do engineering there, they do mathematics, technology, and the science related courses. So Mr. Kumi has sponsored the construction of a multi-million-dollar school. Currently there is in Painesville. So many of you've been concerned what Mr. Kumi has done for the people of Liberia. Mr. Kumi has done nothing. In fact, I'm just telling you that Mr. Kumi has sponsored the construction of multi-million-dollar schools in Painesville. And the school focused on the sciences, science, technology, mathematics, and engineering. Today the school is there in Painesville. What is the benefit of it? And most of you continue to say, sometimes you're concerned, oh, Mr. Cummings, he's focusing on the sciences. Yes, Mr. Cummings do have reason of focusing on the sciences. And that's why you see the institution he have constructed, the institution he built, they are focusing on the sciences. The reason is very simple. Today, we have serious issue with roads in our country. We need engineers to build the roads. We need engineers to construct bridges. So most Liberians or many Liberians, they are shying away from the science, from the science courses. So many Liberians, they are going to do art. So Mr. Cummings want to motivate Liberians to get involved to involve themselves or specialize in the sciences. Because in the sciences, you have professional engineers who will be able to build our country. Mr. Cummings prioritize and love Liberia. The Liberian people are loved by Mr. Cummings. When Mr. Cummings don't love this country, he couldn't invest a multi-million-dollar in a school, in the construction of a school. A school today that In fact, the school is now restricted. That school is for all Liberians. A lot of politics. You have some physicians who send their children there. They are stealing their currency. You have a lot of people from the United Party who send their children to specialize in the sciences. They are currently in that school that Mr. Kumi has built. But listen to most of you saying, oh yeah, Mr. Kumi has done nothing. Mr. Kumi has done nothing. Who tell you that Mr. Kumi haven't done anything? But the thing is that most of you guys are not knowledgeable to it. Most of you are not knowledgeable to it. But Mr. Kumi has constructed a multi-million-dollar school. Currently is in Pinsville. We have people from the government official children, they are there studying. We have people from even the opposition community, they are studying. The next thing Mr. Kumi did is that Mr. Kumi launched the Kumi's Africa Foundation to create opportunities for less privileged Liberians. Mr. Kumi has created the Kumi's Africa Foundation to provide opportunities to cater to less privileged Liberians. And just in 2 years, in a period of 2 years, the Kumi's Africa Foundation was able to implement 22 quick impact projects in Liberia. Mr. Kumi's understanding that we have less privileged Liberians, and the less privileged Liberians, they are not attended to by the government. We have a lot of people not catering to the less privileged. He thought that, hey, listen, it is important that we look at the less privileged people, the less privileged children. How can we be of help to them? How can we, be of help, even though we are not in government, even though I'm not the president of Liberia, I'm not managing state resources, I'm not in a capacity now to say we can enact law that will affect positively the lives of less privileged Liberians. But no, I can't sit without doing anything. So I think it's necessary that I do something. Mr. Kumi start with his web and they come up and say, let us establish the Kumi's Africa Foundation. And Mr. Kumis and his wife established the Kumi's Africa Foundation. And the Kumi's Africa Foundation, just in a period of 2 years, they were able to implement 22 quick impact projects in Liberia. The 22 quick impact projects with 25 implementing partners. So Mr. Kumis, being a man who believes in doing the right thing, being a man who believes in the system, and being a man who don't like to compromise system, he was able to select 15 implementing partners to implement the 25 quick impact projects. And it was able to benefit a lot of Liberians. This quick impact project, Mr. Kumis, the Africa Kumis Foundation have implemented, was able to benefit Liberians less privileged. And can you imagine a man who is not present? But guess what? He spent 989,000. The foundation, the Kumis Africa Foundation, was able to spend 289,000 in the area of education, in the area of health, in the area of agriculture and development. Yes, most of you, many of my friends from the Unity Party and the Seas, always coming up to say, Mr. Kumi has done nothing. Mr. Kumi has done nothing for the people of Liberia. But this man, he is not yet president. He sat with his wife and said, he sat with his wife and said, Man Teresa, we need to help the less privileged Liberians. And even though we want, I want to be president, if I'm president, and I will be able to lobby with the legislature. We can formulate laws, we can act laws or bills that will affect the lives positively of less privileged in our country. But Teresa, we still need to be of help to the less privileged Liberians. So after establishing, how can we be of help? Teresa said, well, I think that what we can do is we can establish a foundation. And that's how they established the Kumis Africa Foundation. And the foundation was able to spend, in just a period of 2 years, to spend 289,000 in the area of education, in the area of health, in the area of agriculture and development. This man is not president. Many of you say he's so desperate to be president. But the man who is desperate to be president, he's still sitting with his family. They own their own, going in their own cover to say, yes, that will be of help to Liberians. The less privileged people, we should prioritize them, and government prioritize them. So let's sponsor them. Just in 2 years, the Kumis Africa Foundation were able to spend 289,000. That's just all. Mr. Kumi also went ahead to pay the WAS fee, to pay fees for tutorial classes of the Liberian people, Liberian students. Always Mr. Cummings is one person who is concerned. Listen, let me just tell you, Mr. Cummings follows everything that happens in this country on a daily basis. Mr. Cummings do follow. Mr. Cummings is so concerned about, why is the reason that always when our students go for national exam, they always fail? Why is the problem? Mr. Cummings came back to say, no. I think what we need to do is that just part of the government and supposed to formulate, through the Ministry of Education, is supposed to come up with innovation to address the concern while Liberian students they are only performing during national exam. But again, I think I can be of help to the Liberian students. So what am I going to do? Let me pay for tutorial class. Let me pay instructors. Let them go for extra tutorial classes to making sure that at least they prepare themselves before the national exam. Mr. Kumi came back to sponsor that process, and he was able to sponsor 2,322 students. The 3,221 students, that cost, the total cost of that project, the expenditure of that project is US, let me get it right, is US 106,000. Can you imagine? Mr. Kumi is not yet president, but this man, he come to education after looking at sanitation, looking at the less privileged Liberians. He sat again and said, no, I think I can still be of help to Liberian students. Education is something my government will take very serious. My government will prioritize education, and education will like to provide standard education for the Liberian students, so they should be able to compete with their counterparts in neighboring country. So how can I be of help to the Liberian students? Yet the concern came up that a lot of students have underperformed during the national exam. The committee said, okay, Man Teresa, we need to step into this thing, because it's not something good. It's not show good image for our country, Liberia, that every time our students go sit for the national exam, they underperform. So what can we do? We need to help them. This man on his own go in his personal cover and took up 106,000 United States dollars to pay instructors to have tutorial class for over 2,322 students. Yes, we still have other guys ignorantly sitting on other platforms saying Mr. Kumi has done nothing. We expect that these guys will not speak to the reality. But Mr. Cummings have been doing a great thing for the people of Liberia. A lot of things Mr. Cummings have done for. What it takes? You know what it takes that you go in your cover. You are not president, but you say, yeah, it is important that we have a quality education for our students. We need to prioritize education. The future leaders of our country deserve quality education. They will not compete with their counterparts whenever they are not educated. So, since education is going to be a major priority, our students are only performing in national exam. Let me go and be of help to them. This man, when he is covered, he took out 106,000 United States dollars to pay instructors to teach students, to prepare them to tutorial classes. He paid that, Mr. Cummings. The next thing Mr. Cummings did is skill honor education. The man established a scholarship. Mr. Cummings established a scholarship and financial aid program with the University of Liberia. I don't know if most of you are aware of it. Oh yes, Mr. Cummings established a scholarship and financial aid program with the University of Liberia. Because, like I said, education is very important. You can build any country without you working on the minds of that citizen. So Mr. Cummings said no. To get professional engineers, to get electricians, to get professional nurses and doctors, to get professional plumbers. Listen, we need to prioritize education. So again, that's part of me going to high school students, paying for the tutorial class for them, giving 106,000 United States dollars. That is for our high school students. But again, we have some Liberian students who in need of financial aid to go to the university to continue their study. So what can I do? Mr. Cummings went back and initiated a scholarship and financial aid program at the University of Liberia. And this scholarship is came in the tune of 1 million Liberian dollars. In the tune of 1 million Liberian dollars. We have our young brothers and sisters who have the ambition. They want to go back to school. They want to achieve quality education. So say I'm not yet president, that I will be able to manage the state resources to say, yes, this will not come from my personal cupboard, but the government can provide this for the Liberian student. So I'm not yet president, I'm still, Ellis Cummings. Let me initiate a 1 million Liberian dollar scholarship program. And Mr. Cummings have initiated it. The record is there. Go at the state-run university. 1 million Liberian dollar scholarship. Mr. Cummings launched it at the University of Liberia. But we still have other elements. We still have other people who say they love Liberia. They are more Liberian than any other person in this country. They are more Liberians. They are more indigenous than we do. But if you check that record, they have been liability on government. They have been liability on the Liberian people. And even though the Liberian people have given them opportunity, the Liberian people pay them for over 10 to 20 years, but to even give back to the same Liberian people in different sectors, they say they don't get money. Most of them won't be president today, but they say they don't get money. They only want to use The Liberian people, they only come to the Liberian people during electionary period and, you know, gives, dish out small money, and at the end of the day, you elect them and they leave. But Mr. Cummings has been there. Mr. Cummings has been doing a great thing for this country in terms of scholarship. Mr. Cummings has been providing scholarship for the Liberian people. That's part of the scholarship in the health and sanitation. Mr. Cummings has been doing great thing, a very great thing. Let's take this break and we will be right back. Let's take this break. We'll be right back.
My name is Alexander Cummings, and I want to work with honest men and women to change Liberia for the better. I want to open the doors of governance to all capable persons. I want to use the collective brain power of all of our men and women. I want to build a nation of self-sufficiency. I want to build an environment that thrives on and promotes a vibrant Liberian private sector. I want to ensure that we are a nation where education is key in all of our national development priorities. I want to create and nurture a development agenda that ensures our young people have jobs when they graduate from school. I want to create an environment where our women have access to equal opportunities in every aspect of our society. I want to promote a system that uses our country's natural resources for the benefit of all. I want to see our country flourish beyond our wildest imagination. We are capable of doing it if we work together. We may not all agree all of the time, but we can set aside our differences and work towards charting a new course without the infighting, backbiting, and backstabbing. Whether you're a member of the ANC, ALP, LP, or UP, we must channel our support for individual candidates into championing our collective objective, defeating the Weir administration in the 2023 presidential and legislative elections, and ushering in a governance more prepared, more capable, more experienced, more skilled, and more honest men and women. With your help, we can move Liberia to being a better country. I thank you. God bless you and God bless Liberia. There are 5 There are 5 priorities we have, and we call that the what's. And then there are 5 things we call the how we'll do it. And those priorities are as follows. Our first priority is infrastructure. Simply put, it's electricity, it's roads, it's water, and it's internet and cell phone connectivity across Liberia. We have to invest in infrastructure. That is the top priority. That's the basis on which we can and will do everything else. The second priority for us is job creation. There are too many unemployed, underemployed, and unemployable Liberians. The unemployment rate is over 85%. And therefore, job creation is our next priority, creating jobs for the Liberian people. So after job creation, our next priority is agriculture. We are a country, after 170 years, that do not fear ourselves. Last year alone, we imported over 160 million United States dollars in rice import, and total food imports was over $280 million. These are things we can do for ourselves. We should be producing rice to feed ourselves. And my commitment is that by the end of my first term in office, we will be self-sufficient in rice production. And within education, we're focused on vocational training, teachers training, and adult education. But we have to educate our young people because, again, that's how we can help them create jobs. That's how we can train farmers. And so these things are all linked together. And our final priority in terms of the what's is health. Because you can have good infrastructure, you can have a good job, you can feed yourself, you can have great education, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. And so health is our fifth priority, and there we're focused on primary health care and preventive health care. So those are the what's we'll do for our people, for the Liberian people. How are we going to do these things? The first how is we want to engage Liberians differently in the transformation of our country. We call this hearts and minds. How do we get all Liberians to participate in the changes that are required? We're going to use arts and music and culture and reconciliation and religion. All of these things, we will be deliberate in using these things to engage us as a people in this transformation process. And so we're doing some work on how we can make those things happen. The next how is that we're going to find the money. We have to find the resources, the money, to do all of the what's I mentioned earlier. And the way we'll find the money is first, we'll go after waste in government. You know, we spend a lot of money on things that we don't need, or we pay too much for things that we do need. So for example, I believe the vehicles we buy for our government officials, we spend too much money on that. We should reduce the number of vehicles, and we should buy less expensive vehicles for our government officials. We need to reduce how much they make so we can pay teachers and civil servants and police officers and the military officers and healthcare workers, people who actually do the work. We need to pay them more money and reduce the gap between those at the top and those who actually do the work. The other way we'll find the money is going after this thing called corruption. You know, corruption has been the bane of our country, is the primary reason why we are as underdeveloped as we are today. And we will aggressively go after corruption. The first thing we'll do is we will appoint a corruption czar, a minister in charge of corruption in the presidency that will coordinate all of the agencies that are meant to find corrupt officials. Secondly thing we'll do is we'll make sure we are giving the resources, the money, the right people, the right logistics to the anti-corruption agencies, the LACC, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the General Accounting Office, the Public Procurement and Concessions Commission. We will make sure they got the right resources to go after corrupt officials. After that, when we find people who are corrupt, we will prosecute them, we will put them in jail.
So folks, I'd like to say welcome. I'd like to say welcome back from that break. You know, sometimes these things are necessary that you take a break and you inform your audience, and through entertainment, you entertain your audience anyway. So welcome back. If you're just joining, I'd like to say welcome. It is a reminder that you are tuned in to the FIXER Hour on the Bottom Line Liberia. And if you just joined, I'd like to say welcome. Today we are looking at Mr. Kumi's contributions to Liberia since before declaring his ambition to join to become president of Liberia, before declaring his ambition to be president for Liberia, and because you know Mr. Cummings been in the private sector, so many people been concerned. Oh yes, what have Cummings done for the people of Liberia? Cummings did nothing for us, and only one time to be president. A lot of you been saying that. I know some of you watching today, you have been saying that. So today on the edition, I choose to only tell you more about Mr. Kumi's contribution to Liberia, some other donations Kumi have made to the people of Liberia, and other projects he has sponsored. I'm here to tell you today. So, okay, let's continue informing you. Let's continue. So, also under his contributions, Mr. Cummings have made a lot of contributions to the people of Liberia. So, Mr. Cummings also provided a 350 kVA generator to BWI. Look, some of you sitting or some of you watching this show, the good thing about it today, that's why I say you should share this show. I want you to keep sharing this show as soon as you turn on, share the show, like and share. Because many people been out there, some of you supporting Mr. Cummings, but if you get in the community, people ask you, what are those things Cummings done for the people of Liberia? You don't know them, right? You don't know them. So it is important that we come on the platform, we share with you this information so that tomorrow if you get in the community, people ask you, hey, you say you're supporting the CDP, you're supporting Mr. Cummings. Can you tell us what Cummings has done for the people of Liberia? That's the essence of the show today. So I'm taking my own time. Like you see, I'm not shouting, I'm not rushing things. I will discuss them bit by bit. And I want you to wrap it up. So Mr. Cummings have provided Mr. Cummings have provided 350 kVA generator. 350 kVA generator to the BWI, the Booker Washington Institute. And some of you sitting there will ask, but maybe you're in a diaspora, you're concerned, but is it why Mr. Cummings should provide generator if we have current? Some of you, it may be your question or your concern. But let me say this to you. The generator was actually needed by the people. The people, the school were actually in need of that generator. You know, BWI run a vocational school. If you go there at BWI campus right now, you have the vocational school running there. And you have the engineering department. Some of those who will teach, different electronic stuff. They need current. They need KVA they need generator. So Mr. Cummings coming back, he have attended BWI before. He has served on the board of BWI before anyway. He have not attended board. He have served on the board of BWI before. So he's so concerned about the need of the students. So when he visited the campus, he understand that listen, sometimes the metal guys they want to make that Popeye, they want to do that metal work, but there's no current. At least we do not have stable current in this country. So Mr. Cummings said, no, this is a serious challenge for the people. So it is important that I step in and help my people. This is not about politics. Mr. Cummings provided 350 kVA generator, 350 kVA generator to BWI, and that cost around US 600, not 600 man, it's US 67,000. 67,000 United States dollars. It cost Mr. Cummings to provide a 350 kVA generator. Today, if you go at BWI to see that they have stable electricity on that campus, Mr. Cummings was the one who provided the 350 kVA generator to help them stabilize the current, and for those who doing the vocational study, the vocational study there, every time now face today, we have Liberians who benefiting from that gesture of Mr. Cummings. So, Mr. Cummings, that's why I'm continuing to say, most of you who vow to campaign for Mr. Cummings, it is important that you share the show. You keep on the show because I'm providing you more than Mr. Cummings has done. There's an argument that Mr. Cummings has done nothing. So we will be taking our own time to tell you things that Mr. Cummings done for the people of Liberia. Mr. Cummings, just stop there. Mr. Cummings went at the University of Liberia, UL. You know, UL is a state-run university. And then, being a state-run university, they are constrained with a sophisticated lab. Sophisticated lab. Sophisticated lab. But today, it has been a cry from the students, who specializing in the sciences. They've been crying from the state-run university, Fairnock campus. Mr. Cummings said, no. You know the problem about technology in our country is a serious challenge. Technology in our country is a serious challenge. If you go to Rwanda, if you go to the great United States, you go to other African countries, the people prioritize technology. And that's why most of the schools around the world, they have blank technology with it. Some of the classes you see they run it online. They don't have too many in-person classes. So meaning you can be at work, you can sit home, you can sit somewhere else, you join your class, you have your class. So Mr. Cummings is saying, yes, it is important that we look into technology into our country. Because if we want to bring in investors, or we need a 21st century Liberia, if we want to build a 21st century Liberia, we got to prioritize technology. So he went at the state-run university campus, he constructed 30-seat computer lab. 30-seat computer lab. And he empowered them, he equipped it with computers. If you go to Fenia, on the campus of the University of Liberia, UL, you will find out that you will find the Alexander B. Cummings Jr. Lab. The Alexander B. Cummings lab is there. Mr. Cummings have constructed it there. And he has spent a lot of funds. So the argument about a lot of people saying, Cummings have done nothing, Cummings have done nothing, these people will never see the things that Mr. Cummings do. They will never see things that Mr. Cummings do. They won't see it. And you expect them to see it? No. Because they see Mr. Cummings as possible threat to them. They see Mr. Cummings as possible threat. So since they take Mr. Cummings as a possible threat to them, and Mr. Cummings will not make them to achieve that political ambition. So they want to do every other thing in the weak way, for making sure that they blackmail Mr. Cummings, they ply with the propaganda that he has done nothing for the people of Liberia. But he has done a great thing. He has done a lot of great things. Mr. Cummings also donated medical equipments to Manscott United Methodist Church in Harper, Maryland County. Yeah. His donation is not limited to only Montserrat. You go to Nima County, Mr. Cummings have impact there. Mr. Cummings has donated musical instruments. Mr. Kumi have donated musical instruments to Mount Scott United Methodist Church in Harper City, Maryland County. Yeah, Mr. Kumi from Maryland County. He has done nothing for the people of Maryland County. Amen. Amen. That from that area, he claims that from that area, he has done nothing for his people. He want to be president of that area. But this man have donated musical equipment to Mount Scott United Methodist Church there in Harper City, Maryland County. He didn't stop there. He went back to that same Maryland County. He constructed the bridge that connects Big Town to Tubman University in Harper, Maryland County. When you go Maryland today, there's a town called Big Town. It connects to the Tubman University. They have some challenges in crossing that road. But Mr. Cummings went there and he constructed the bridge. Currently today, as we speak, the bridge that connects Big Town to Tubman University in Harper, Maryland County, was constructed by Mr. Ellis Cummings. But yet and still, many from the opposition, it's not many, let me just say few from the opposition. They won't see it. I was sometimes when I sit down and listen to them, I monitor their talk shows, I listen to radio. Some of them who are not knowledgeable about the workings of Mr. Cummings, they sit on the radio. Mr. Cummings from Maryland County, he did nothing for the people of Maryland County. Just not forget about the cash donation Mr. Cummings have made. Mr. Cummings has supported the Maryland County team. I forget about all the donation he made to the people there. But I'm discussing the bridge, a bridge that was a serious challenge, that posed serious challenge on the people from Big Town to Tubman University. It was a bridge there. The bridge is currently there if you go there. At that time, it was so deplorable. It was a serious challenge for students to go to school. Mr. Cummings stepped in and he constructed that bridge. He constructed that bridge. Today, if you get there, if you go to Maryland County, if you go to Tubman University, you will see that bridge from Big Town to the university campus. That bridge was constructed. It was not by government. It was not by the United Party folks. It was done. It was constructed by Mr. Cummings. It was constructed by Mr. Cummings. He spent thousands of dollars to construct that bridge. So the thing is that that's why I want us to. I'm very polite, and I want us to take we will take our own time, because a lot of you been asking again, oh, why made Mr. Cummings they prefer Kennedy or other presidential candidate? This man come with different agenda and different vision. The face of Mr. Cummings, it can be compared to any face in the Liberian politics. Mr. Cummings come with a new face. And listen, that's why, Mr. Cummings is serious about changing Liberia. He is actually serious about changing Liberia, and he means it. The very first thing is that many of you don't know, but today we continue to see that corruption is taking over our country. Every sector, everywhere you go. In fact, to even trust your own child in the house, for parents to trust their own children with money, to say, let my child keep the money, or even like one time, let me share the phone with all of you. One time I had some money for my auntie. I promised to carry her something. So I went to the house. She weren't there. So I called her. I said, I'm here, but I promised you something. I'm here to give it to you. She said, oh, Joe, I'm sorry, I'm not there. So I said, yeah, but your daughter is here. Let me give the money to your daughter. You cannot have the time to come back again. She said, no. Get the money. You should, in fact, if you get chance, send it on my mobile. So that in its own way, have shown to me that, hey, corruption has spread across all sectors in our country, even in our private lives. Corruption is on a high increase. So, for a government to succeed and do the needful thing for the Liberian people, you need a president who is willing to fight and combat corruption. And among all those who want to be president, who will be coming to you to campaign, fellow Liberians, Mr. Cummings is the best and preferred candidate that you can trust on, that he will fight corruption and he will defeat corruption in our country. The reason is simple. The legislature, they are the problem. Today, most of the problem we face with today is from the legislature. Today, the United Party is taking a sitting senator, a man who currently himself in the Liberian Senate, and the people crying say there are a lot of agreement, there are a lot of things the legislature, there are a lot of laws enactment the legislature have done, and it's not in the interest of the Liberian people. There where Baraka went and take his vice president. Mr. Cummings said no. It will be a disservice. It will be disingenuous to the people of Liberia. If I say I want to, I went to them, I tell them that I want to change Liberia, and then going to the same legislature that they continue to cry, say the legislature is not in their favor, going there to take someone to be my helper, my teammate, I'll be disingenuous to them. So let me go in the private sector to get someone up. That's how he went and brought Councillor Charlene Bronsky. And most of you, a few of my friends, they continue to say that, oh, Baka, we don't care about vice president, who the best vice president. We agree that Mr. Cummings do have the best vice president. She do have good knowledge about the law or understanding about laws, and it can be compared to any vice presidential candidate in terms of experience, in terms of integrity. She can be as compared to any other person who wants to be vice president for this country. But what we have to tell you is that Ambassador Baga is the best presidential candidate. We just bring Jeremiah Kum because one number. Can you listen? You serious about that? You serious that vice president is not important? They only brought Kun for Kun to aid them, help them win Nima Kante, but you're not care about what he will be doing. Listen, the vice president presides over the what? The Liberian Senate. And somebody say the vice president presides over the Liberian Senate, but the vice president do not have voting right in the Liberian Senate. I agree. Only in the case where there's a tie vote and she break the tie. I agree with you. But do you know what you call influence? You know what it takes to preside over 30 senators? You should be able to build a personal relationship with them. Oh, yes. You should build a personal relationship with them, because, mind you, your sole purpose of being vice president is to help transform the lives of the ordinary Liberian. Make sure that laws that will be enacted be in the interest of the Liberian people. So you presiding over the Liberian Senate. You won't tell me the vice president do not have influence over member of the Senate to say, no, Mr. Senator, this is in the interest of the Liberian people. In fact, you call few senators after you hear that the president has sent a bill and most of them want to come back. You say, invite these people in your office. Talk to them. Give them the importance of your side. Tell them this is the importance I attach to this bill. And this is how you're going to affect the lives of the Liberian people. And your people that you're representing here in the Senate. If you have vice president playing any kind of role, yes, you will find out that we will have change in our governance space. And that's why Mr. Cummings is concerned of. And that's what makes Mr. Cummings a preferred candidate. Because since the problem is with the Senate, the senators themselves, The problem of the Liberian people is the legislature, the senators, and the House of the Representatives. You say, okay, I will not go in the House of Representatives to take vice president. I will not go in the House of Senate to take them because the Liberian people already have problem with them. So let me go in the private sector to bring someone who have the understanding about law. Because most of these bills that will be enacted, I need someone who will guide me, who will advise me, say, Mr. President, this is not in the interest of the Liberian people. This one, we shouldn't do it. This one, you shouldn't sign it. That do this, that do. So, Mr. Cummings, you see the different Mr. Cummings, the different flavor Mr. Cummings brought to the Liberian politics. He bring different flavor in the Liberian politics. Different flavor Mr. Cummings have brought to the Liberian politics. So, fellow Liberians, it is important that we sit on the show, on the platform, because we have limited time. Limited time. We have less than 90 days to go to election. The decision we are about to make, it determines whether the post and our living will be improved, or we will still be challenged or confronted with this same old thing. Obviously, you know that this administration have not done any great thing for us. Again, if you look in the opposition community, we do have an old man called Baka. And many of you say, oh, so few of you anyway, I shouldn't say many, few of you say, oh, Baka. And sometimes some of you come in inbox, why we can prefer Baka? Listen, Baka doesn't have plan for this. The old man is so desperate to be president for this nation. Because he is so desperate to be president for this country, that's why he even had the guts to go and sit with investors to even negotiate or view concession to sell the people who will give you mountain. And listen, most of you watching, and when you share this show, let me just talk. I can conclude now. Let me talk to our people in Lofa County. Let me talk to our people in Lofa County. My people, let me say to you, sons and daughters of Lofa, October 10 is a tough decision you should make. October 10, the decision that you will make will determine the future of Lofa. The decision you will make, October 10, will determine the future of Lofa County. Listen, I will play this recording first. Listen, let me play this recording, because what I'm about to say is so important to the people of Lofa. Listen, your son, your father, Ambassador Baka, the man is into negotiation. He has been into negotiation to give your only reserve out only because he wants to sponsor his campaign in October or August. Baka want to give your only mountain that you depend on, the mountain that your children, the mountain that the people of Lofa County you depend on. Ambassador Baka is into discussion to give it out. It's very important. That mountain is your future. President go, president come. That mountain is your future. But your own son Baka, you know, it was so frustrating. Costa said that when Costa came out with that thing, I was like, I don't want to believe that Ambassador Baka can even go into meeting and even discuss similar such thing, because that mountain is a reserve for the people of Lofa County. But for Ambassador Baka son, Joseph Boyka Jr., to even admit to the fact that yes, his father, Ambassador Boyka, went into a meeting in Ghana with other business people and who wanted to sponsor or want to sponsor his campaign activities. I want to say to people all over, be careful. Y'all need to be careful how you rally support around Ambassador Boyka, or else your goodness, your loyalty, your kindness will be used against you tomorrow. Back at the Wulogisi Mountain, you will not have the opportunity to work there because the Pape Omen Joe Boyka have already vowed to give that mountain, or you want to sell it. Then listen to Boyka Jr. Listen to him.
Is to tell the Liberian people and tell the world that all that's caused us spill out today about Joseph Boyka, our standard bearer, is very disheartening. That a young man who has been a good friend of our party and a good friend of a good state man will be spilling out lies as he did today. But we don't hold that against him. We consider that as a propaganda. We'll continue to love him. The rescue train is on, and Liberians are very excited about what's going on, and we're not going to let no one deter the change and the transformation that the Liberian people have been yearning for through the Joseph Boyka presidency.
Mr. Costa made several allegations. He mentioned millions of dollars that were offered to him to stand as to run as president. So, I mean, the former vice president, what does he think about all this information?
When the Costa name was floating in the public domain, to be honest with you, Liberian people did not even take it serious. We know Costa to be a talk show host in Liberia, but as a vice president material, was not an appealing name at all in the public domain. And if Costa, for some reason, arranged money that he thought he could, it's against our Liberian law. So the campaign money should be raised in a country, not foreign money. So to hear him describe some millions that he asked that should go to Boyka is not true. But whatever the case may be, the ALP leadership by Honorable Bernard Ayure and Henry Costa have been good friends of Mr. Boyka. And for whatever reason, if they decide to not be part of the rescue train, it's their prerogative. And we wish them best in all they do. But the Liberian people are resolved, they are determined to ensure that this country is rescued from George Weah bad leadership, and we're not going to be deterred by anything.
I wanted to ask, because he said, as he put it, that the party of Mr. Benani Ure, the All Liberian Party, will no longer ally or partners with your party, the Unity Party, that you no longer share the same ideals or vision. Does that concern you, the fact that he said?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the Mace recording. Listen to this one. This is Boyka's.
Actually, I was doing a much longer recording and I just changed my mind. I'll say this to you all. At no time in that meeting did the Omen offer those people anything in terms of concessions, in terms of Wologisi, nothing. The Omen only said to them, if you are business people and your support is contingent on my winning and what happens afterward, then you bring your business interest and we talked about it. There were no specifics placed forward. Because that's what they are. They're business people. They're not going to come and support. So for it to be that and the Omen was surprised, that how can your support be based only on the idea of me taking Henry as my running mate? Not on any business proposition. You haven't indicated what sector you're interested in. Nothing. So the Omen put no concession on the table. I knew I was in Ghana, number one. Number two, yes, Henry called very disappointed after the conversation. After the Omen turned down the conversation.
Okay. 2 hours. Okay. So the second thing I want us to establish, certify They established the fact quickly to wrap up on the show. Costa came up to say there was a meeting held in Ghana. Sole purpose of that meeting in Ghana was to discuss with investors because Bwaka, you know, the only man who has served as vice president in this whole world to say he doesn't have money to sponsor his own campaign at Joe Bwaka. I know the logic he made. I know the Liberian people. I know the Liberian people, they are too gullible. The Liberian people, they are too gullible. How can a person serve as vice president for 12 good years? And you know the budget that the vice president office manage. To tell Liberian people that he is broke and that he even going into meeting to discuss with investors to see how best that he gather funds to sponsor his campaign. That's a disservice to the people of Liberia. But again, the fact I want us to take in this recording, I'll play it back. The fact I want us to establish here is Costa said they went Ghana to meet with business people. Business people is about the Wurugizi Mountain. Let me tell you, the Lofians watching us. Bwaka went to Ghana to meet investors. And if people so concerned about that, the reserve mountain, your reserve resources that will better the life of your that will better the life of your children. That will better the life of your children. Bwaka went Ghana to even sit with the people. That's the fact I want us to establish. Do you think we cared about what Bwaka's son coming out to say or the party will be coming out to say? You think we do care? You think we care? You expect for the Unity Party folks to come up to say yes? It is true that we were in that meeting. We were in that meeting that the people say they want Wurugizi Mountain, or Bwaka say you gave out Wurugizi Mountain. The father been established that they went into that meeting. And what it went for, it also around money. They also around Bwaka receiving little support to come and sponsor his campaign. That's the reality. So listen, let me say this to the Lofians, and I want you to keep sharing the show. I want you to keep sharing the show. I want you to keep sharing the show. The Lofian, the future, your reserve resources. Your reserve resources at risk. You better revisit your decision, or else you will have to blame yourself. That's the reality. The old man is not yet president to go into any agreement that will be binding on the Liberian people or on the people of Lofa. That will speak to the fact that you have people going at your reserve to start to operate. This man, you're hearing it today. This man is not yet president. You go into election to elect your president. Make no mistake to vote for Omen Bwaka. If you do that and this man win the election, he wins the election. If you make that mistake, vote Omen Bwaka, he wins the election. I'm sorry, your natural resources, your reserve, all will go. Because I don't know, by this point in time, for a sitting, the informal vice president, and if a man who has served in the Liberian government for 42 years, to tell us that he doesn't have money to sponsor his campaign, that he want to go into a concession with other people, say support me, if I win you do business. It's so sad, and that is just for the people of Lofa County. It's too sad. For me, I'm from Grand General County. That can be done in my county. No. We hear that in Baga. Or we just hear say, some other presidential candidate from that side want to give our natural resources up. That man will be voted against. It happened in our district there. Other guy was running to be represented when you want to carry Chinese people to and take the grandchildren and all the Liberians who doing that money there. You know what happened to him? He didn't even get 500 votes. Then there is not just a gold mining site. It's not just a site that covers maybe 1 hectare or 2. We're discussing the whole mountain, the future of Lofa, the Wolugisi Mount. I even have the guts to go Ghana to sit into a meeting to say, yeah, let's discuss. And they come back say, yeah, we have made 5,000 first time we meet with investor. It's a clear fact. It's a glaring fact that old man Joe Baka went there, and the purpose of him governing Ghana is to go into negotiation to give out your mountain, to give out your natural resources, to give out your reserve for your future, for your children's future, to give it out to investors. And you don't even care to know what in that agreement. Listen, my people of Lofa County, don't make no mistake. This old man is a leech. This old man is a leech. Ambassador Baka is a leech on you. If you allowed him to suck your blood, fine. That's fine. If he made a mistake, you gave him that number you want to give him, fine. But the Liberian people will not let him. So it is important. It is important that, in fact, I expect the elders now to invite Ambassador Baka. I don't know where the Lufian elders are going. You listen to the recording, they are admitting to the fact that, yes, the woman was in Ghana. And he went there to meet with all the business investors. And Henry Costa have been very loyal to Ambassador Baka. Ambassador Baka and Costa was like this. The two of them were hands in hands. Hands in hands. And Costa is coming to tell we the Liberian people that this old man want to give our mountain up. Then you think we care to hear all you're gonna do, all this. In fact, all the time long. When last year, that Ambassador Baka went to Ghana to go meet with investor regarding how he would sponsor his campaign. Now, of course, that came out to say that before you hear them speaking about it. That, oh yeah, they went there, but the old man rejected that. And how you will sponsor the election, and when your business people, you're waiting me win, I win. Listen, fellow Liberians, this is serious. And I expect the elders of Lofa County by now, I expect them to invite Ambassador Baka for questioning. Oh, yes. Invite the old man. Just listen, it is about your future. It is about your reserve. Wologisi Mountain. Imagine that. So this is very serious. And I hope that the elders will step into that and reject him. But at this time, let's take a break, and I'm going to be right back.
There are 5 priorities we have, and we call that the what. And then there are 5 things we call the how we'll do it. And those priorities are as follows. Our first priority is infrastructure. Simply put, it's electricity, it's roads, it's water, and it's internet and cell phone connectivity across Liberia. We have to invest in infrastructure. That is the top priority. That's the basis on which we can and will do everything else. The second priority for us is job creation. There are too many unemployed, underemployed, and unemployable Liberians. The unemployment rate is over 85%. And therefore, job creation is our next priority, creating jobs for the Liberian people. So after job creation, our next priority is agriculture. We are a country, after 170 years, that do not feed ourselves. Last year alone, we imported over 160 million United States dollars in rice import, and total food imports was over $280 million. These are things we can do for ourselves. We should be producing rice to feed ourselves, and my commitment is that by the end of my first term in office, we will be self-sufficient in rice production. And within education, we're focused on vocational training, teachers training, and adult education. But we have to educate our young people because, again, that's how we can help them create jobs. That's how we can train farmers. And so these things are all linked together. And our
Welcome back, and this is serious, fellow Liberians. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, I'd like to welcome you to the FIXER Hour on the Bottom Line Liberia. FIXER Hour is a 1 hour, 30-minute program on the Bottom Line Liberia. On the FIXER Hour, we discuss the vision of Mr. Cummings and Councillor Charlene Bronsky, how they intend to transform the lives, the poor standard of living the Liberian people are confronted with. On the program, we bring in our guests who propound on the vision of Mr. Cummings and the working policy issues of the CPP. So today we've been discussing a lot of things, and at this junction, this is how I like to come to an end of this program, the week edition of the program. My name is Joseph P. Yonly, and I appreciate all of you for watching, and thank you for watching. The next time I talk to you will be on Monday. At what time I will be right back in studio to discuss more about our Liberia. Happy pre-independence day. Happy pre-independence. And it is important. Liberia is the only country we have. Despite of our political differences, we got to unite, and we got to unite as Liberians and make sure that we get things right and get it on the path that we want it to be. So thank you, and this is how I like to come for an end of this week edition of the program, the FIXER Hour. My name is Joseph T. Yonly, and thank you for being there.